proper place of worship. I have heard rumors of others who have strayed from the light of the lamp, but all campfire tales have roots in reality. Surely no child of the lamp would stray so far, yet here I find myself in the blasphemer's lair. Sacrifice is a part of life, but there is another presence in this place, a deceiver. They twist the flesh of our believers into perverted concoctions, gardens of rust and rot to feed their false prophet. I have been tracking 3 young believers who went missing, and I fear their stories have come to an end. My companion holds out hope for their safe return, but based on the evidence I have found, I believe they are no more. Strange flora, phylacteries, and vessels litter the cabin, some of which I assume to be our missing believers. Our craft is considered strange by raider and settler alike, but to use the body and spirit of believers to power this monster, it is hard to stomach. I discovered the worst of their sacrilege upstairs. It's a sin to tell a lie, even more so to lie to a child of the Lamb. Look upon the effigy of their false idol. The sight of it sickens me. Our brothers and sisters led here under false pretense, promised wisdom, communion, all eyes, lambs for the slaughter in the name of an abomination, a pretender. The equinox will soon be upon us. I believe they are planning to put their unholy remedies to work. Day 3 of waiting to see if anyone returns. I searched the shelter beneath the cabin. That's where I found what was left of Sarah. She was kind. She was devoted, deserved better than this. Plenty of clues about what went down, but few leads on where to look next. But I know the killer wasn't alone. I think it's time to drop the Cowboy act and call him back up. This case has quickly gone from missing persons to full-blown conspiracy. They've done something. This equinox is all wrong. Even the drones I rigged to search the area couldn't get their shit together. But they did zero in on a person of interest. I tried to keep it civil, but he wasn't interested in being friendly, and he certainly wasn't from around here. I stopped at the church nearby to consult with an elder. Now that one of my only leads are dead, I need all the guidance the lamp can offer. Wait, something feels off. The presence from the cabin, it's here. Brothers, sisters, forgive me. I would throw myself from the rooftop if so much weren't at stake. But the cavalry is coming. I'm not in this alone. I've been having visions of a future I don't want. Feeling like I'm losing it. The cavalry is coming, but not all at once. I need a priest, or better yet a high priestess. These are strange times, and I'm lucky to have any friends left at all. Is especially friends like these. Things aren't looking good, but she knows of an elder that hasn't strayed from the light of the Lamb. I'm no prophet. I'm just an old cowboy turned detective who knew the truth when it blinded him. But I can't turn back now. I am being called upon, and it's high time I learned the difference between knowledge and wisdom. He kept calling it the dead pilgrimage. We were on our own. No candles to guide little moths. I've heard of the labyrinths. We've all heard the tales. Endless tunnels to lead moths astray. Few reach the end. I believe in the true flame, but I never saw myself as anyone to believe in. But we often surprise ourselves in troubled times, and my friends never cease to surprise me. By the time I had completed my trials, she had already learned of their next target, communion. They were unsuccessful. We were rewarded with visions of our friends en route. The Blue Ridge Legend himself is less than a day away. People always talk about going back and changing the past, but they never talk about doing anything to change the future. The visions, they're different than before, almost hopeful. I was alone before, and I lost. But not this time. There's still 2 kids out there I need to bring home. Plenty to be sour about, though. I'm down an informant. This case was supposed to be so easy. Good thing I've passed my trials. The wise one showed me where to be, and for once I thought I was early. But there's no getting the drop on the Blue Ridge Legend. Even if you're early, you're already too late. He filled me in on what he had learned on his routes. We traveled to the acre to investigate my visions. He took the relics we found and will get them into safe hands. The reason no one finds his roots is because nobody does it like the Blue Ridge Legend. Hoping I hear from our other friends soon. Praise be the Lamb. It's been at least 2 days with no contact from our friends. The Blue Ridge Legend's absence is expected. He's probably halfway back from the Commonwealth. But radio silence from one of our brightest sisters is concerning. We searched all night and well into the morning looking for her with no luck. Even had the Responders Field Office attempt to aid the search, but that didn't pan out. Gonna have a hard time explaining that. But thanks to overhearing a stranger's conversation, we finally found her. Folks tend to forget that we used to be different people before the bombs fell. She lost her first family during the Great War. She tried to rebuild only to lose it all again. We tried to give her time to grieve, but she knew what was at stake and couldn't bear the thought of another light being snuffed out. She managed to isolate the Pretender's formula and provide us a sample we can distribute. It won't save anyone. We've already lost, but now we can protect those who haven't passed the trials. By the next morning, we had a steady supply available for not only our family, but all of Appalachia. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does like to rhyme if you let it, and our stories lose meaning if we don't write them down. These visions have become muddled. I'm finding my memory struggling to hold on to these fractured images. My mind is breaking, like a house divided. Too many realities trying to be. But I am not the only moth that sees. My friend arrived while I dreamed. We quickly set off to investigate the caves. We had a fellow moth serve as our guide till I got lost. I discovered a cipher hidden in their cave art and went to find my friends. A quick jailbreak later, we returned to investigate. The language which was strange, meaningless nonsense. Until the code was cracked and we learned the terrible truth. They're going to wake the interloper, and they're receiving outside help to do it. The interloper is heavily guarded, and we still don't know who's assisting them. The only clue we have is the involvement of someone referring to themselves as E. These skies remind me of the invaders from beyond. The last time they were amongst us, we shut them down. We learned a lot about them, and I managed to stash some gifts they left out near Wadoga. Life has become so strange. Feels like I'm tumbling down the rabbit hole. Maybe it's time I go dig up the truth I buried. Maybe I can kill something otherworldly with a weapon from another world. Maybe. But the truth wasn't the only thing I buried here. I haven't been to this grove in a long time. Not since I buried her. I tried to leave before my emotions got the better of me, only to lose consciousness. Have you ever seen another version of yourself meet their maker? I don't think I know the difference between dreams and visions anymore. I awoke with a splitting headache. What the hell happened? Feels like I'm back in a vault. What the fuck is going on? I don't think I'm in the White House, but I'm definitely locked in wherever I am. And this fucking computer won't let me access the doors or armory. Is this what my fucking taxes went to? Must be, cause I served and never saw digs like this. I'm not getting much signal from the surface. Barely catching the ass end of 16 tons on the radio. I'm trapped. All I can do now is wait to meet my captor. President Harvey Danger has a nice ring to it. Maybe I'll die in office. I managed to sneak out of an air duct while the protection was busy dusting the rust. Looks like this was supposed to be the US government's home away from home. I don't know what happened, but the only government official left is Modus. Must be related to Zach's fucking psychopath. That smile gives me the creeps. I was able to slip past a few assaultrons and made my way into the research wing. For a government agency I've never heard of or seen, they sure do know a lot about the surface. And apparently they're well aware of the Wise One. That's interesting. I did my best to collect any clues about the cult or the kids. But that's when I saw something that caught my eye. Why would I bother with alien tech when I could just nuke the bastards? Gotta get this info out. I tried to find an exit but got cornered. Modus claimed I insulted the Enclave's hospitality and my quarters have been downgraded. And they took my fucking hat. That was my favorite hat. I guess Modus really was offended enough by my snooping to ship me off-site. Because that's where I met the last living members of the Enclave. I wasn't sure what to expect, especially when they addressed me by my pre-war rank. But the pleasantries ended there. As soon as I mentioned the missing kids, they got defensive. And when I brought up using the nukes, they really went into a panic. They said those nukes belong to the Enclave, and I know too much to leave here alive. I've seen a lot of realities, and I know this isn't how I go. Too bad he didn't know that. I took his weapon and prepared myself for the fight ahead. They don't know shit about the missing kids, and they don't give a fuck about the cultist threat. They're only concerned with keeping their secrets and maintaining their stockpile. I don't know why I expected Uncle Sam to behave any different. They aren't involved with the Pretender, but they might as well be, since they don't plan on doing a damn thing about it. But I did get my hat back. Time to nuke 'em up. Visions have become more direct after escaping the Enclave. Hard to argue with the message, but what does it mean? It took me days to get back to the priestess camp. By the time I finally arrived, I learned that our scholars had gone to investigate a far-off bastion. One of our sisters raided a cave for supplies and found a boy chained to an altar. She found Jacob, and he needed a healer fast. It's amazing what a couple of witches can dream up when a kid is in trouble and time is short. They should make good time. Jacob will live. Meanwhile, the Blue Ridge legend was certain he had come across a nuclear key card in his travels. Just had to remember which outpost he stashed it at, which would be easier if he wasn't so good at collecting. We had nearly given up the search for the night before he asked me if I wanted a Nuka-Cola. That's when it dawned on him. He remembered where he stashed the keycard. What better place to stash a nuclear keycard than a Nuka-Cola themed diner? We had a well-deserved meal and started planning our next moves. How do we become death, destroyer of worlds? I hold the key to destruction in my hands, and I have no clue how to use it. The priestess sat with me and helped me focus my visions. Sometimes you can find what you're looking for, if you're lucky. As fate would have it, I was looking for a very unlucky man, a Fortunato of sorts. And just like poor Fortunato, he was a few bricks away from becoming a permanent part of the catacombs. We immediately arranged an expedition with the responders and set off to the pit. This place is hell. By the time we got there, it was too late to move him. He used his own blood to mark the launch sites on my map, all for a promise that I'd look after his mama. He might have been a fuck-up, but he didn't deserve to go like that. It has me reconsidering the choice I'm about to make. We still don't have all the answers. What if I kill off my last chance to learn the truth? I need wisdom. I need guidance. Please forgive me for whatever choice I make. Stall their sinister plans just long enough for the equinox to end. It's time to warn those that remain about the coming danger. We're going to nuke Lucky Hole Mine. Jacob is finally awake and informed us of all he learned while held captive. The Enclave's only involvement was a spy that spilled his guts right before he spilled his guts. But Jacob did mention one thing that seemed strange. He said the robo-brain and right hand of the pretender dropped into a full-on conversation in Latin. Very odd. Jacob is going to need long-term care if he's going to make a full recovery. And I still have some explaining to do after losing that responder. Lucky for Jacob, the nurse was in. If you're in a medical emergency, this is the place you hope to wake up in. Honestly, her facilities are better than some of the places I saw pre-war. The responders have always been good to us, and I am thankful. But I can't wait for all of this to be over. I like to sleep without dreams for a bit. Someone's watching us, and I know it's not Enclave. No e-markings. They can't help themselves. They put that shit on everything. We've been invited to the merchant vaults to lay low, apparently giving away the antidote for the pretender's poison opened a lot of doors for us. We're making the final preparations before we drop the bomb. But I've also been focusing my visions. The Wise One has given me sight into other lifetimes. Events I've already lived through, but another version of me is just experiencing. Worlds where I never had to bury my heart. This place is almost heaven. I was a Blue Ridge trader in this lifetime. A damn good one too. Sometimes I wish I could get a taste of what this life was like. Trading all this pain for peace. What a world. Not only is my wife still alive, but I never got maimed by the sinners. I used to have a lovely singing voice. When I was little, Mama Carter told me the whole world existed on the back of a giant turtle. But what's the turtle sitting on? I'm afraid it's turtles all the way down. No matter how many visions I have, the Great War is never avoided. Strange that so many details can change, but something like the world ending remains a constant. Just like this pie, these fucking machines didn't work before the bombs fell. But I can't complain about the believers who volunteered for this. The Blue Ridge Legend received a tip that might lead to the safe return of our last lost moth. So we needed all the help we could get if we were going to be successful. This facility is insane. On-site bot production meant we had an endless army to keep at bay. I worked as quickly as I could to input the codes in the correct order. The team had my back. We communed with the Wise One for the last time before changing the face of Appalachia forever. We made our way topside to bear witness to something no one has seen for 25 years. Lucky Hole Mine was our home after the bombs fell. Even then the Pretender and Interloper were whispering, "May the man-made horrors of yesteryear wipe away the man-made horrors of tomorrow." I remember when we were first called to the mine. It was a time of celebration, mourning and communion, but that was before the whispers. Our friends and families thrown from the cliffs, sacrificed in the name of the Interloper and Pretender. That bomb fell just like the first moth they silenced. The brides volunteered for the raid. Should have known they would. All of them were supposed to be wed. The day was set, the altar decorated. Nobody knew their grooms planned on sacrificing them to the Interloper at that very same altar. Since then, the brides have become the guardian angel of death for every woman in the wasteland. I wonder if any of the clowns they're cooking are one of the original groomsmen. It would be a fitting end, till death do us part. Truly I feel no remorse or shame for the cleansing we lay upon this place. The brides are not only masters of the iron sights, they have mastered the true sight. They will cleanse this place of all memories of the Interloper. The Pretender and Interloper will never be known by our children. We will bury this memory in the deepest fathoms of our minds. I made my way topside to check in with the Blue Ridge Legend, only to be stopped at the exit by Brother Recon. That voice, even through that muffled piece of shit speaker, I would recognize that voice anywhere. Et tu Brute, the Latin, all makes sense now. I laid there bleeding out, wondering where I went wrong. How did I not see this coming?